Hey everyone, it's Haze and it's once again time for Miraculous Monday meme review where my friend Hedge finds me the very best Miraculous memes from off the internet and I react to them. I don't really think I have anything else to say. I was actually meant to film this yesterday, but I was doing my big analysis for Wuthering Heights for my book channel, which you should totally check out because it's fun. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully we'll get there soon. I was like, I need to film it yesterday and I need to go up on the same day, so I've got a lot of editing to do. And as it was meant to go up at 2 PM. Didn't go up till 5:30 because of how long it took to edit. But anyway, there isn't really much discussion on Miraculous. I mention it upon occasion, but it's not about Miraculous. So if you're interested in books and reading, because I like books and I like to read a lot, I read 109 books last year, please check it out. Anyway, on to the meme review. So the first meme we have Felix, a new character appears. Interesting. He steals Gabriel's wedding ring and discovers an identity. He manages to steal 15 Miraculous from Marinette in one episode only. He's no match for Lila in season 6. Yeah, basically. That's one problem I do have with Yaksai Gozen. It's not so much the Lila and Felix thing, but that their rings were never really in any real danger because they ended up swapping them. I know they didn't actually know what was going on, but I just felt like it felt a bit flat. Like, it was fun, it was an enjoyable episode, don't get me wrong, but it was just a bit like, that was nice and convenient that she was gonna fail because she told her plan anyway, like, you know. I'm a bit on the fence about it, but honestly, just in general, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not the biggest fan of Felix's character because he only comes in to advance the plot. And you're probably a bit like, well, why are you complaining about that? It's great when he's advancing the plot. You're correct. However, it really should be characters who are there most of the time advancing the plot, such as Marinette, such as Adrien. Like, Marinette only advances the plot in Confirmation, for example, because she happens to be in the right place at the right time. She ignores everything she was told in Representation, like Gaby Baby has the butterfly miraculous, ignores that, which is why I also hate Representation. And she just turns up and he basically happens to be Hawkmoth. You know what I mean? Like, she only finds out because she's like, I have to go and find out about Adrien. She goes to Natalie. And then Marinette hides in the room and she sees Gabriel walk in and de-transform. She only finds out she's in the right place at the right time, not because she's worked through the clues to work out it's him. That's why it annoys me. Like, Felix is allowed as a character to have all these moments where he's being really clever and working things out, but no one else really gets to have that. And it's just an example of poor writing in the show, which I'm not a fan of when they do poor writing like that. So, writing wise, I'm not the biggest fan of Yaksai Gozen. It's okay, it was fun. I like the bit where they're searching for the rings and Marinette's in the floor. That was great. But no. Next meme. Felix, again. I tried to kill your mum and best friend. How could you fall in love with me? Kagami. I don't know. Felix, I betrayed your best friend and stole everything from her and gave her trauma. How could you fall in love with me? Kagami. I don't know. Felix, I tried to force kiss your best friend and made her uncomfortable. How could you fall in love with me? I don't know. Felix, I gave 50 Miraculouses to a monster who abused you and everyone you loved. How could you fall in love with me? Kagami. I don't know. To be fair, Felix, in comparison to season 3 and season 4, I definitely do think he has changed a significant amount. However, I do really wish we got to see more of that change on screen. Like, we see a little bit of it in the end of Emotion, you know, when they kind of point out to him like, hey, could you bring everyone back? That wasn't very nice. They kind of point it out to him then. And then when he rocks up in the next episode in Pretension, he seems to have changed quite a bit already. He goes about it the wrong way, but he seems to have changed a little bit anyway. It's just a bit like, I'd like to have seen that play out more so, like his moral dilemma there, rather than it just happening. And I do still take a lot of issue with Felix not being there in the finale of season 5 to help, because I know Thomas was like, oh, it's a human issue and he's a sentient monster so he doesn't care. I'm like, right. However, you see in like the little screens they do that his mum is being affected by it. So because she's human, Felix was just like, As much as I don't like Felix, I do believe he loves his mum very much. So I do find that a little bit hard to believe, just a little bit, just a smidge, you know what I mean? So, yeah, no. Have I ever agreed with anything Thomas has said? Maybe once or twice. In general, I agree with the general statements he makes, like, please stop bullying each other in the fandom, stop being rude to each other. I agree with that, but often when he says stuff like that, most people aren't being rude to him. They just disagree with him, which he doesn't like. Like, I still remember ages ago, this is before I truly knew what he was like. This person, they were quite clearly a child, they very, very innocently asked, like, hey, how come Marinette and Adrien don't change clothes every episode? You know? They wear the same thing. This was before the new animation. And instead of just, because to me it was a genuine question, they were quite obviously just did not know the reason, and the reason is because you would need to pay a hell of a lot of money to create new models with brand new outfits for them, which is the answer. But instead of explaining that kindly to them, he was really rude and flippant and was like, yeah, sure, if you give me tens of thousands of pounds we could talk, or euros, whatever, dollars, whatever he said, we could definitely do that. And he was really rude and flippant. No. I don't think he's realised yet that a lot of people reciprocate the behaviour they see him do towards others, which is rude and nasty. But he has a problem when people are rude and nasty to him. Whilst I'm not saying that's okay for other people to do, I do find it odd he objects to it when he does the same to other people, myself included. So, yeah, anyway. Next meme. Wait, you guys actually think Lila is whatever character? I thought it was a joke. Oh, do people think it's a joke? I definitely think she's ugly. I don't have any other suspicions of other characters. I'm a bit on the fence with Joe when we're seeing people around Paris Joe, like for example, in Sublimation there's the guy sat in the stadium. I'm not 100% sure if she's akumatized herself to look different in those moments, because we know you can't akumatize yourself into looking like a normal person. You don't have to dress like a supervillain, right? You can just look like a normal civilian. So I'm not sure if she's akumatized herself into look normal but different, so like a different person. Like, I'm pretty sure the person in Sublimation, they seem like they're male, they also look quite a bit bigger than Lila. So I'm not sure if she's doing that or she's like recruiting people, because I think one of the things they said, like, she has eyes everywhere, so I don't think it's possible for her to be in, you know, 50 places at once. I think it's possible she has people working for her around the city and they're feeding back information to her. So I'm not sure if it's one or the other, but otherwise I definitely do think it's plausible that she could be ugly and trying to get to Marinette that way, because you see from the end of Recreation she already doesn't like Marinette, she still wants to get under her skin, and as the season has gone on you see that Lila does start to suspect Marinette of being Ladybug. So I do think it stands to reason that she would try and infiltrate school, because they all think, oh, Lila's gone, and none of them knew that she dressed up, they just knew she lied. They didn't know she had these disguises. We're the only ones that know that. Marinette and Adrien and Ali or whatever, none of them know. So it could be plausible. Like, they would never suspect, like, oh, she could be here in disguise, because why would they? Because they don't know that. So I definitely think it's plausible. Agley, I apologise if it's not you, but I think it's you. Next meme. Oh, another Felix one. Felix finds out about everything that Adrien should have discovered first. The only male character who stole Marinette's aura and defeated her, okay. The writers made him more smarter than any male character. Never faced consequences of his wrongdoing and even got a girlfriend. Luca finds out Marinette and Adrien's secret identities. No plot relevance after that. True. No character development. Yeah, he doesn't really change that much as the character. Obsessed with only loving Marinette, abandons mother and sister for his crush. Okay. I feel like the Luca leaving for Brazil is twofold. One part is to physically distance himself from Marinette, but also when he first leaves in Migration, it's to get away from Hawkmoth, because Hawkmoth realises he knows both of their identities, so it's for his own safety and for their safety too. However, I definitely think you could argue like Marinette's talking to him. I think it was, you see the flashback in Mr. Agrest when it goes to the old season models, so I would say that's probably after the events of Recreation but before season 6 starts, where she's like, oh, you can come back now, and he's like, no. And he chooses to stay in Brazil to try and help him get over Marinette, but he doesn't abandon them just for Marinette, he abandons them for more for it. Could you argue that now in season 6? Yes, but not completely, in my opinion. Then we have Adrien, the main character and the reason why the show even exists, not including any plotline even though he is the main male character. His girlfriend, his cousin and his ex are all more involved in the plot than him. Writers always make him lose in battle for Ladybug to save him. Agree. I know a lot of people are saying, well, the plot in terms of what Gabriel was doing does center more around Adrien. It should be about Adrien. Adrien should be the lead, not Marinette. whilst I get where they're coming from, I definitely think making Adrien the lead of Miraculous, particularly like in season 5 and season 4, it would have made the age rating much higher, and I just don't think it would have been appropriate for the 8 to 10-year-old age audience. I'm not saying it wouldn't have worked as a TV show or as a story, I definitely think it would have, but because Adrien, he is basically being emotionally abused and neglected by his father, it would bump up that rating. So whilst I like the idea of it, it just wouldn't be plausible. So Marinette for that age group is a much better idea. But in general, like, I do agree with this. He is sidelined a lot when he's really deeply involved in this. I am hoping as the show goes on he will get used more, because I know a lot of them, I think Thomas and some of the other writers and like people involved in the show are saying, oh, people just want to see more of Marinette. When all my comment sections are filled with asking to see Adrien and other YouTubers are, and my comment section isn't just full of adults, I have a huge mix of demographic of ages watching my videos. Some are children and some are older people, and a lot of the older people are actually parents of 8 to 10-year-olds who watch the show and want more Adrien. So I do fail to see why they think they only want Marinette. You know what I mean? Like, most people come to, like I said, 80% of comments when we get an Adrien-centric episode, people are cheering in the streets, you know what I mean? So, I don't know what metrics they've got, but just from the metrics I'm seeing, I would disagree with that. So, yeah. That's why the stuff with Felix annoys me. You can see they're laid out. He's not in the show very often, but he gets to do a hell of a lot more than Adrien. I'm not too bothered about Luke, because he's more of a side character. But Adrien is the male lead, and his cousin, who's been in the show like, what, less than 10 times in less than 10 episodes or something like that, I haven't counted, gets to do more than him. Yeah, you know, no. Next meme. Okay, Thomas Asterix, we have Alia, Adrien, Chloe, Luca, but he likes Kagami, Lila, Felix and Marinette. Yeah, I'd say that's accurate, although I definitely do find Lila a bit weird in season 2. So she makes a debut in Volpina, which chronologically is the final episode of season 1. And then you don't see anything, you don't hear anything about Lila until Heroes Day, which chronologically is the last 2 episodes of season 2. Why? I've never really understood that decision. Like, I'm not saying she has to be in every single episode, because I kind of like how they do her in season 3, where she doesn't do a great deal. Like, she's in Chameleon and then she's kind of in the background of a lot of episodes, but she's still there, she still has presence. It's a bit similar to season 4. She doesn't really start doing anything till Pedal Team and Risk. I'm not saying she had to do as much as she did in season 5, although I did like that. I did enjoy the drama Lila brought. But I just felt it was a bit weird in season 2 and season 4 that Lila was missing. Especially in season 4, because she's in the class. She just doesn't really do anything till the end of Penalty, from what I remember. I was like, oh, okay. I like her as a character, she's fun and entertaining me. I'd never want to meet her, anyone like her in real life. Absolute psychopath. But as a character, I'm like, yeah! Fun times. So he just loves Felix, I don't really get why. Anyway, next meme. So we have Nino. Can I know more secrets? Thomas Asterix. Nope, you'll never know any secrets and you'll get less screen time, that's true. Adrien. I'm the only one who doesn't know who's Hawk Daddy and the main character. You'll never know. You will spend your time grieving for your father. Kagami exists. You'll know Hawk Daddy's and Ladybug's identity and you'll get your own special. Well, saying that, I am very, very excited for whatever it is that Adrien's going to be doing in New York that we saw at the end of the Tokyo special. Absolute favourite part of the Tokyo special. So the day it came out, I had to work, and the day after, I was going away to France. So if I hadn't been going away, I probably would have been working on a Sunday. I would have sat down on Monday, tried to keep myself spoiler free as possible, and reacted to it. However, I was unable to do that, and I knew basically what I did that day. My plan was to watch it on the train as a live broadcast on my way to work. When I got home that evening, I was going to rewatch it, take all my notes for my video. The next morning I would get up early, do makeup, get dressed, film the video, edit it, and then we set off for France. That was my idea. And it worked out really, really well, and I was just so hyped. Like, literally the episode ended as I got to work. Well, as the train pulled into the station. I still had to walk from the station to work. But I was so hyped after watching it, especially that ending. Oh my god, I was on cloud nine all day. My colleagues were like, oh my god, just so happy. So I was telling them about the episode. None of them cared because none of them watched Miraculous. But I was just like, it was amazing. So I am really looking forward to that. Although I was talking to one of my friends the other week and he's like, well, yeah, it looks really good, but like, I'm not sure I want to get hyped for it because it might not happen for 6 years, like, which is true. I would hope it's going to be the next special, but I don't know, I feel like from the hints they're giving, the next special is going to be the Brazil special. And that's clearly New York, so I would assume for that one it's going to be Ladybug and Cat Noir, or maybe it's going to be Ladybug and Viperion. I'm not sure. But I am hoping Adrien is going to eventually find out. I'm pretty sure I've been saying this since the end of season 5. It's not an if we'll find out, it's a when. As for Nino, Nino's writing is very strange. He definitely seemed a lot more prominent in like season 1 and season 2. But since, I would say since season 4, he's definitely taken, like since the end of season 4. But I would say since season 4, like he was great in episodes like Rocketeer for example. He just seems to have really, as in the writers, really made him take a back seat. I'm not really sure why, because you'd think out of everyone who's going to be there for Adrien would be Marinette and Nino. It's just a bit of an odd decision. Like, don't get me wrong, I know all the kids are lovely and they all want to be there for Adrien and I can absolutely see that in that friend group. But those are the 2 people he's closest to. So don't you think he should be in it a bit more? I get him not knowing any secrets because Nino isn't the best at keeping secrets. For example, in Rocketeer, if I was Adrien, I'd be a bit wary too. He just blurts out like, yeah, I'm Carapace, my girlfriend's Rena Rouge, and Adrian's like, should you really be telling me this? Because I don't think you should be. I don't think Ladybug would be okay with that. So I would understand why Adrien might be a little bit wary about telling Nino his secret identity. But otherwise he definitely seems to have taken a backseat. He hasn't done a great deal this season, which is certainly odd. So, like, what's he done? Like, he was in The Illustrator, and he looks like he's going to be in Lady Chaos. Other than that, though, he hasn't really done a great deal this season, which is really, really weird. Anyway, next meme. Me actually entertained the idea that maybe Chloe's arc and many other things are actually planned for the start. Derision. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Like, you can just see it absolutely wasn't planned because, okay, I know trauma and anxiety affects everyone differently who has it. There isn't like a, I don't know, like a plan for everyone, like you all have to react this way. But for something so traumatic to happen right at the end of the school year, and that trauma started before what happened at the swimming pool. Marinette was going to school every day. She didn't really want to be there because of the way Chloe was treating her with the bugs in her locker. You would think, theoretically, that Marinette would be scared of the locker room, scared of the classroom, scared of the science classroom, scared in general around Chloe. However, on her first day in school, I know Alia is the one kind of motivating her to do it. They sit at what is usually meant to be Chloe's desk. If Marinette had been through that in Derision, which she obviously had been, if she'd been through that, she would be absolutely petrified on that first day of school about 1, seeing Chloe again, and 2, even deigning to think that sitting at her desk was okay. Like, if she'd done that over just like a bit of a prank to wind her up, which is basically what she was doing, she was getting Kim to basically wind her up and fake having feelings for her. If she would do that over basically nothing, then what would she do to Marinette over that? Again, I know her sitting at her desk isn't serious, but Chloe obviously didn't care about that. She didn't care about Marinette's safety and how she felt. She wouldn't be like, oh, it's not that serious, you can sit there. You see how the way she reacts in the Origins episode. So it just doesn't make sense. And also, for example, another great part of Derision that shows you it doesn't make sense is Soculine. This girl was in her final year of high school and she gets excluded for standing up to Chloe with like 2 weeks to go, I think it is, in Derision. And you don't hear about her until season 5. Like, if someone had done that for me, they would be my friend for the rest of my life. Like, there was no way I wouldn't contact them for almost a whole year, which it is because at the end of Derision, like you say, you find out it's 2 weeks to the end of the school year. Season 5 takes place towards the end of the school year, so in the last 2 to 3 months of the school year. And Marinette doesn't talk to her for a year until Jubilation? No. It's not planned. Which is why, with season 5, it's getting hard to predict stuff, what's going to happen, because they're going back and retroactively adding things. It's not really creating any plot holes, that's not the point I'm making, but it's getting hard to predict because it's like, oh, this scene actually happened during I don't know, Oni-chan, for example. I've just made that up. But you didn't see it at the time. So it's hard to predict stuff because they're just adding in things that never really did happen at the time. Which is why the council, I like the idea of them, but you can definitely tell it's retroactively added because there are absolutely almost zero hints. The only hint I can think of to the council is at the end of Feast, where they're watching on the TV about this temple in Tibet suddenly reappearing, and Gaby Baby, Tomoe and Audrey are all watching it, and it was, everyone at the time was a bit like, that's a bit weird. That's the only real hint I can think of, and the diamond dance. However, I would assume everyone at that party, not all of their parents would be on the council, or relatives or whatever. It doesn't have to be their parents like we see with Noe. So yeah, no, derision wasn't planned from the start. And I get it was difficult, like as a writer, for example, so I believe when Miraculous was first commissioned, it was like, we're gonna do 1 season, go. And then they were told, okay, now we're gonna have 3 seasons. Take that 1 season and do something else. And then it got extended to 4, and then I forgot the extension. So I do understand as a writer it's difficult to do that, because in the back of their mind they're going to be like, do we tie things up? Or do we leave it a bit more open-ended in case they do extend it? What do we do? I get it, like for example, when my first novel was coming out, I had written it and I pitched it as a standalone novel because I was told at the time from other publishers that at the time trilogies weren't doing well, which is what I had imagined in my head. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I accepted that fact and I wrote it. I went back and rewrote it as a standalone novel. And when I pitched it to the publisher who ended up publishing me, she was like, this is great. I want 3. And I was, so luckily it worked because I already had 3, like I had a plan for 3 that I didn't think I'd ever end up using because I was told they're not doing well, make it standalone. But it was difficult to do, taking it from 3 then down to 1. The same way it would have been difficult if I'd just had it as a standalone at the first place and then I had to extend it and add things in. You know what I mean? So I get it's difficult, but it should still make sense and should still be good. Derision does open up plot holes, so it's not a good example. I can get past the stuff in season 6 with them adding things back in, things we didn't see, because they make sense and they're not creating plot holes. It just makes things hard to predict for me when I'm doing my theory videos. But derision does open plot holes, which is why I have such problems with it. Anyway, on to the final meme of the meme review, which is a meme reviewer viewer submission meme. So basically, if you want to be in with a chance of having your meme review in the meme review in the month, you basically have to join my Discord server. There is a link down below and you can submit memes you have made to the Discord server. It has to be one you've made, not just one you found. We have a different channel for that and people will vote on it. Hedge also has instructions on the screen as well. So this month's winner is Thunderbirds Girl 2001 Marinette. I don't know who Cat Noir is. The fan base, also Marinette, mum / dad / random classmate / teacher / principal / mayor / kid I randomly babysat / grandma / grandpa. Is that you? You've been a Akuma. To me, I feel like the Akumas are possibly a little bit different because they usually show their personality a little bit more through the actions, through what they're wearing, things like that. So I feel like that's a little bit different to Cat Noir. Although I will say, as much as I love the sewer scenes in Mayura, in Heroes Day and the New York special, I love those scenes. Adrien and Marinette are detransformed for it, so the quantum masking wouldn't protect their voices from not being able to be recognised because they're detransformed. So honestly, if I was Marinette and that happened again, a situation where they were talking to each other thinking, oh, that's Ladybug, that's Cat Noir, and they had to be detransformed for whatever. And at this point, I was dating Adrien, and I worked out later he was Cat Noir, and you know, he works out in Ladybug. I'd be pretty annoyed as his girlfriend that he couldn't recognise his own girlfriend's voice, you know what I mean? I'd be like, why didn't you know it was me? I'm your girlfriend. Same way, other way, like if I was Adrien, I'd be like, I am dating Marinette. How did she not recognise her own boyfriend's voice? Does the sewers make it echo and sound different? I don't know. But yeah, I agree with the meme. Anyway, besties, that was everything for the meme review for this month. I'd love to know what your favourite meme was, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!